Who are these people? They are awful and horrifying, and I love them.
Program the computer. We create a mental atmosphere.
Fear not, my friends. This will be my greatest performance.
Here we go.
We came, we saw, we kicked it.
Oh, we kicked it right into the holiday weekend. Good morning, Long Beach, San Pedro, Wilmington, and all the cargo ships at sea. This is your morning show for your weekends right here, Mornings on the Beach. I'm Danny Lemos.
I'm Mike Stark.
Melanie Ray.
And today on the show, you know those rainbow sidewalks all over Long Beach?
Yeah.
Well, this administration is coming after them, and we're going to tell you why and how they plan to do that. Coming up on the show.
Oh, I thought they were too busy with concentration camps.
There you go.
Well, apparently not.
What musical artist in their right mind records a whole album, then shelves it, then does the same thing 6 more times? We'll talk about it.
Oh, right then. Holiday weekend. Here we are, 4th of July, right? And let's see. Last night, we were at the Fuego for fireworks off the Queen Mary. So Boomer's exhausted. He's asleep on the floor here.
Yeah, that's different than his usual condition when he's asleep on the floor.
But the weekend's still here, and a holiday weekend for everybody.
Yeah.
What was your best memory of a 4th of July weekend? Do you have one?
I have one. I think I was 20, and I was with my best friend, and we borrowed a convertible and drove up all the way up California to Washington, and we were watching some firework display just kind of accidentally. And I remember that they come into America today, and we were sitting up.
Oh, wow.
We were sitting up on the doors of the convertible and screaming the song at the top of our lungs and watching a firework display, and it stuck with me.
It speaks of a different time because you said we borrowed a car. Who would lend their car anymore?
Right,
All the
especially a couple
insurance.
20-year-olds.
Mike, any special memory?
Well, this may sound a little cliche, but
Aw,
I
please.
have a special memory of when we actually had a reason to celebrate Independence Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
know?
That's a
Yeah, really,
a
that's
memory.
true.
But actually, a lot of great childhood memories. I remember, Safe and Sane fireworks have been around for a long time. I remember as a very small child, I started a small fire in the backyard of a neighbor's house with sparklers. So.
That doesn't sound safe or sane.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. So I was already screwing things up.
Mine is always, as a little kid, slipping through the fence into Smith Park because our neighbors, our friends lived nearby, and we slipped through their fence into the park for a big, and we thought that was so like we're sneaking in. Well, there was an entrance 20 feet away, but it was so much fun as a kid, and the taste of a hot dog with mustard, especially if the hot dog is fried to a crisp.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, then that's it for me. I mean, that reminds, and I felt so innocent. If we could only go back to a time like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and wow. We're fantasizing here on the show.
Well.
Yeah.
But I want to say that if you were listening to the radio station this week, KLBP, we had a very special event happen.
Yes, we did.
It was awesome. And why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
We had the Long Beach Soul Collective live at Secret Island, just next door here, with spoken word, live music, Philosophy hosted, Acoustic Soul, and Seabone and the Soul Shack players performed. And we had some spontaneous and amazing spoken word performers.
And speaking of that, one of them, and she was inspired by being part of the audience.
Yeah.
And so I've clipped it because we recorded it, and we're going to rebroadcast that night. But I want to play for you Well, I'll tell you what. He intros it perfectly.
All right.
I'll let him do it.
As he does.
We are at the Secret Island. There are tiki drinks flowing, and again, remember where we are. It is on 99.1 Public Radio, and there is a flyer that I have in my hand that is on almost everyone's table. Whenever you want to chime in, this flyer is for you. And you, and you, and you, wherever this finds you, again, you may be driving in your car. You might have just put your children to sleep and you're up with a nightcap and saying, what should I be doing right now? I want to tune into 99.1 Public Radio in Long Beach, because you can find us here every first and third Wednesday of the month, beginning at 7 p.m. It goes all the way to 9 p.m. So the next person I'm going to bring to this stage is a professor, an educator, someone that has their heartbeat at the epicenter of Long Beach, an avid supporter of the arts, and also was published in Newsweek today. Teresa, it is your turn.
Yes, professor. Professora.
Hi, everyone. My name's Teresa Puente. I'm a writer, journalist, and educator from Chicago originally, but I live in Long Beach now. This is my home. I want to say the opinions expressed here are simply my own, not of KLBP, Acoustic Soul Express, or Secret Island, but I hope they do agree with me. But sometimes when I'm really angry and upset about the state of the world, I write. So I wrote this, and it was published today. Oops, sorry. Okay. In what seemed like a mocking and dismissive tone, Vice President J.D. Vance recently referred to Senator Alex Padilla as Jose Padilla. Whether calling him by the wrong name was deliberate or unintentional, the impact is still the same. It's dehumanizing. It's a devaluing of the more than 65 million Latinos in the U.S. that some people see as just another Jose or Maria, not as people who contribute to this country. Latino GDP in the U.S. is $3.7 trillion, and undocumented immigrants alone pay an average of $100 billion a year in taxes. As a Latina, I experience that when we are othered, when we are all grouped as Marias or Joses, it makes it easier for our community to be attacked and for immigration and customs enforcement to conduct mass raids at Home Depots, bus stops, schools, courthouses, and churches. We are not individuals with rights if they see us all bearing the same name. I know what it feels like to be called a Maria. As a young journalist working at a major newspaper in the Midwest, a top editor and white male who interviewed me for the position casually walked by me one day and said, "Hi, Maria." "My name is not Maria. My name is Teresa," I said calmly and firmly, rolling my R's. He slowly turned beet red as I stared back at him. Maria is not part of my name. When he misnamed me, it felt as if he didn't truly see me or respect me. I was just another Maria, another Latina that he could diminish.
Fuck him.
Sorry. Latinos make up 12% of those working in media, including news, film, and publishing. More than 20 years ago, there were even fewer of us working in newsrooms. Today, the Latino community and others is under attack by ICE and the policies of the second Donald Trump administration. All Latinos, indeed all brown people and people of color, are being othered and mislabeled as foreigners when the opposite is true. Nearly 2/3 of Latinos in the U.S. are U.S. citizens, and only around 13% are undocumented. But we are all vulnerable to ICE detention, as we've seen cases of Latinos who are U.S. citizens wrongfully detained. ICE arresting U.S. citizens isn't new. It happened under former President Barack Obama and the first Trump administration. At least 70 U.S. citizens were deported by ICE between 2015 and 2020. But the arrest of U.S. citizens is escalating and expanding. Since Trump took office, the second time, at least 5 elected officials have been handcuffed, detained, or arrested, standing up for immigrants, including Senator Padilla. A U.S. citizen, Job Garcia, was briefly detained last month by ICE while filming at a Los Angeles Home Depot. In January, Julio Norega, a U.S. citizen, was arrested, handcuffed, and spent most of the night at an ICE processing center in suburban Chicago. He was never questioned about his citizenship. He was released only after agents looked at his ID. ICE also has deported at least 3 U.S. citizen children with their undocumented parents. The current administration is also canceling the immigration status of more than 1 million immigrants who immigrated legally. ICE is arresting non-criminal undocumented immigrants who've lived here for decades and contribute to our society. Narciso Barranco, an undocumented gardener, was recently arrested and beaten in Orange County, California. He is the father of 3 U.S. Marines. I love serving my country. I think my brothers do as well, and it just infuriates me that our own country is doing this to our own people. What we fight for is an injustice, and we need a better pathway to fix all of this, one of Barranco's sons said in an interview. The president promised mass deportations, and to meet his ICE quota, ICE will keep arresting gardeners, day laborers, and other workers. All of us are vulnerable, especially if you are brown, look like an immigrant, or look like you could be a Jose Maria. When I renewed my passport several years ago, my mom told me to pay extra for the passport card. It's the size of a driver's license. I recently started carrying it in my wallet just in case I get picked up by ICE. I shouldn't have to do this when my family migrated from Mexico to Texas in 1890. My great-grandfather paid a nickel to bring his horse and cart across the border with his family. But to ICE, I look like just another Maria. Thank you.
Wasn't that great?
Wow.
Teresa Puente right there. And like I said, inspired to walk up to the microphone in the middle of the show and got on live radio. But what a moving piece.
You know, and really, that's the way to remember our humanity. These are human beings.
Right.
Human beings with stories.
And that was part of it. Music, stories. So proud to be a part of that.
It was amazing. And the energy was great.
Kind of not hard to do when you're next door to a radio station.
Right.
Wired over to the station, and we got a chance to broadcast, and we're going to do it again. So it's Mornings on the Beach, and this was the week that we found out that there were concentration camps in America. On American soil. It's not Guantanamo. It's not Cuba. It's right here.
Yeah.
And it threw a lot of people back to the 30s when they thought, oh, we didn't know. Well, guess what? It's not like that anymore. Everybody knows now.
Sure.
We're talking about alligator Alcatraz as a way to detain people, and a horrible way to do it, too. But you always think they got to take the hardest and the most horrible pathway to get their problem solved.
You know, it's... I get greed, and I get, I can't imagine the kind of suffering they're creating. You saw the photo of them smiling gleefully in front of cots that are going to hold human beings in a swamp, and they're celebrating it. And encouraging that kind of suffering is something I can't wrap my mind around.
I don't understand how you could sleep with yourself at night. Do you really dislike people that much? Or is it important for you to keep your job?
It's more than that. That picture was more than that. It was glee.
I think the whole thing's horrible, but I think what got to me the most was Trump and Noam and them in that picture
DeSantis.
yucking it up. Yucking it up like this is a fun thing.
So
take that aside from whatever issues there are with that, and there's a lot of them. But that in itself just shows the lack of humanity and empathy that these folks have.
And it really shows it's not just President Trump. This administration is behind this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Let's not forget, and when we're talking about it, let's make sure we point it at the right folks that aren't taking any kind of courage. They're just going along with what's happening,
right?
Which is, history. We've been here before.
When we were just here. I mean, World War II wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. Did you hear President Biden this week talking about, I spent all my time trying to figure out how they're unwinding all the stuff that it took me so long to put together. And for what reason are they doing that? That's he's still in the mix, apparently, behind the scenes, talking. Foreign leaders are reaching out to him like, hey, you're not as crazy. So let me ask you this. Yeah, can you imagine? Oh,
yeah, they wake him up and then talk to him.
Right. But,
sorry.
Well,
he can still put a sentence better than Trump.
Oh, you saw that this week when he was talking about
which one, right?
Which one? he was talking about Florida, and they asked him about the detention camp. It's a specific question. He responds with, "Oh, I'm going to spend a lot of time in Florida." He didn't even hear the question, but he did a 3.5 minute answer on Florida and all kinds of other nonsense at once. But wow, Lawrence O'Donnell this past week made a great. He gives us great opinion pieces. And he did one called "You're Feeling the Banality of Cruelty from Trump and the Republican Party." My point, what I just made right here.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like that. But you know, there's always Mornings on the Beach, KLBP, and Resistance, which go together. And so I always like to conclude our little segment on Trump and the administration with a story about resistance. And this one is kind of cool.
There you go. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
It is about negative content that tourists to a national park were asked to submit. So there was a sign at the entrance, and here's what it says. Golden Gate National Recreation Area belongs to the American people, and the National Park Service wants your feedback. Please let us know if you have identified, 1, any areas that need repair. I like that. 2, any services that need improvement. Okay. Or 3, any signs or other information that are negative about either past or living Americans, or that fail to emphasize the beauty, grandeur, and abundance of landscapes and other natural features. This is how they do it.
Yeah.
First, they make it like, this is a good idea. So people responded by giving wonderful comments about everything in the park. No negative whatsoever, because they're like, we're sick. Really?
Yeah.
First of all, you know, nobody wants to be a tattletale. You know, or maybe some people do, but the Karens are in Orange County, and they can stay there. But it's just so funny how they make that seem as if, you know, we need your help to identify, are we disparaging anybody? And of course, you know, the guy who tacked that sign up probably didn't feel like he wanted to, but he was forced to by the administration.
Yeah.
It's silly stuff, right? And the way they're couching it. And we'll get to another story about that coming up when we deal with the sidewalks, as we mentioned at the top of the show. In the meantime, though, I think it's time for a little musical break.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you got for us, Mike?
I always love when you pick a song from this guy.
Well, it's he's a friend, and I've been a longtime fan, and he's got a new album coming out. This is the title track from his upcoming album. It's called Sweet Misery. Will Hogue.
Okay.
That's Will Hogue, title track from his upcoming album, Sweet Misery. Stay tuned. We'll be playing other tracks off that album when it gets out.
We love that. It's Mornings on the Beach, and we didn't even ask you about your beautiful misery aboard the cruise liner.
Oh, man.
How did it go?
Was it a poop cruise?
Yeah. I got home from the cruise and watched that the night after.
You do it afterwards.
Yeah, you want to.
You do it afterwards. You don't watch that before you go on a cruise. But I got to tell you, I've never had that experience that those folks have. But I'm just
can you imagine?
I'll just say one word: Carnival. Anyway,
which will never be a sponsor, but that's all right.
Poop Carnival.
But I had a great time.
Yeah.
We walked. We were busy, and I was tired, and all of that. But at the end of the day, at the end of the 2 weeks, I told you this yesterday, Danny. I felt like my head was clear, and I was motivated to get back into what we're doing here and everything else. So it
was a good break.
It was a great break, and I'm happy to be back. Yeah. And
so are we. Happy you're back.
Yeah, lots of music.
I listened to last week's show, and I go, they don't need me.
Yes.
Oh,
yes, we do.
Mike, we need you.
I don't need to come back.
Well, we do, because Boomer can't talk.
Yeah. And by the
But if
way,
you could.
And we need a straight guy.
I listened to the show on the cruise ship.
I know, that's cool.
Yeah. So
cool. I love getting messages.
On the app?
Yeah.
On the app.
See? Isn't it a great app?
Worldwide.
Yes. The worldwide app.
That's great.
I listened in Morocco when we were on the bus coming back to the cruise ship. I turned it on and listened a little bit. So
Rad.
You can listen to it anywhere you want.
And it'll be fun to look at the stats and see when Morocco shows up as a country. You know, it was.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if it will.
It does. Though I love it. We have listeners from Berlin on Saturdays, on Saturday mornings. We have people
really?
listening from Berlin. So obviously
Amazing.
they
Oh,
like
that's
the
cool.
oldies that we program. Yeah,
Amazing.
so great.
Can we ask them for help? Come get us.
Really.
Come get us. We're in Long Beach.
And that app is free, by the way, at the store, at the Google Store, and also on the App Store.
Download it now.
Yep.
Talking about resistance, though,
Yeah.
how do you make something bad seem good? You're always looking for a silver lining. That's me. I'm always one of those positive people. But I love this guy's attempt. And this is a guy named Rex Hupke, works for USA Today, writing about the Supreme Court and the decision they made recently about teaching children in books and LGBTQ and all that. And he says, it is with great thanks to the U.S. Supreme Court and its recent ruling allowing Maryland parents to opt their children out of any lesson that involved LGBTQ plus material that I announced the following. Attempts to teach my children anything about Donald Trump, including the unfortunate fact that he is President of the United States, place an unconstitutional burden on my First Amendment right to freely exercise my religion, turning the tables right back around on him. And, the people have been saying, probably around you, they don't know what door they opened. Well, that's the door, kind of. Yeah. Everybody's going to opt out of everything. Yeah. Oh, my God. So it's going to be insane. But, those Wisconsin versus Yoder was the case in front of the Supreme Court. And it's going to, we'll see.
Oh, it's just.
First of all, I would like a list of books that make children gay. I want to know what those books are. I read a lot of books when I was a kid. They didn't turn me gay.
Yeah,
right?
none of those cliches work. I remember growing up as a kid watching lots of violence on TV, cowboy shows and all of that.
Did it make you a violent person?
No, it did not.
Yeah, at least we don't know.
Yeah,
we'll be watching Dateline.
Okay.
Right.
But,
Yeah,
You know, I watched The L Word, and unfortunately, I'm still straight.
Yeah, well, it's true.
Remember that? Yeah.
That's true. But it's just one of those, that drives me crazy.
Mike just got it.
First of all, I think if you're going to take a children's book away, you should be able to tell the administrator at the school what part of the book you object to. Because most of the times they're not read. People are just freaking out about the this and that and the other.
The title, usually.
You know, I went out, since I taught the deaf, and my students couldn't communicate with their parents, I taught whatever I wanted, and I read lots of.
Really?
I read all the inclusive families, the two dads, the hair, I read all those books because I knew they couldn't go home and say, "Guess what she read to me today?" I also spewed all my peacenik beliefs.
Okay, I think people are going, okay, that's why, okay, I know now.
Right.
That's why we have to have the
Yeah, I'm the problem.
Yeah, you're the teacher.
Now you
you're
know.
the problem.
Indoctrinating children into caring about each other.
Yeah, because, I remember a long time ago, I tried to say something like, it was the moon that made me gay.
Right.
And a friend tapped me on the shoulder and said, honey, it was your mama. I've never forgotten that. He popped my balloon right there. Oh, my God. But it's true. Hey, I don't know about you, but my situation was I always was this way. I never knew another way.
Well, and of course, the people who are pushing those laws, a lot of them can't come out because the communities they're in anyway. A lot of them are, angry and hateful because they have those drives within them that they're not allowed to be open with.
Very true.
Every time I see somebody angry about it,
yeah, please.
Let's have a look in your past. Wouldn't it be great if you could just sort of tap somebody on the head and see their past?
I mean, look at the predators. Look at the predators who were making decisions for us. Yeah. Trump, right?
In the name of religious matters, Christianity, values.
Pedophiles, rapists, I mean, they're all up in there, making decisions that are supposed to keep. What? Yeah. It's just infuriating.
Being against inclusivity, being against, anyone who's an immigrant being in this country.
Right.
It's getting scary.
It is.
Yesterday, I saw 3 trucks unmarked with their blue and red lights on. And
I did too.
And we started calling people like,
is that ICE? Because
No, it's the city of Long Beach, and they're cleaning the streets.
Because I'm paranoid too. I look around.
Put the logo on the truck, for God's sake. Yeah. We panicked.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to expose anything, but there are people we call because you want to make sure everybody's safe. That's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, there's that woman from Long Beach. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, but she's a local artist. Mm-hmm. They were Sumaku that does the First Fridays up in Bixby. Mm-hmm. She was active in that, and he was posting something today that she is a citizen, but she didn't have her ID on her.
Which is Teresa's point in her story.
Right. It
Not
may be
having
it may
her
be the
ID.
same person.
Yeah.
She didn't have her ID on her, and they deported her to El Salvador. And now she looks like she's maybe 65, and she doesn't have the medications she needs. And she's down in El Salvador, and her family and community are trying to get her back here. She's a citizen who didn't have her driver's license on her. So the idea that they're taking illegals off the streets is without due process. Everybody's illegal without due process. You know, none of us are safe.
I'm thinking, you know, and I don't know if I'm just crazy, but I'm always thinking about what if it was me? What would I do? Would I just succumb? Would I go nuts and crazy? I don't know what I would do.
Well, can you imagine just being dropped off in a foreign country because your life is here and you have no money, no ID?
Yeah, boom, and there you are. I mean, if
Why
you're gonna
can't they do that to, what's her name? The First Lady.
Right.
Like, dump her back off where she came from.
I think I'd probably say, could you make a right turn and drop me off in Acapulco?
Well, and that's the thing
I'll
is
be happy.
the president and the vice president both have wives who are immigrants.
You know, and once again,
Send them back.
and this is the party of
I don't
values.
feel safe with them in my country.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't.
Right?
Yeah, it's funny that you would think that the current events. I don't think I've ever been influenced this deeply by the current events. Meaning,
Absolutely.
the anxiety that's lying underneath everything. You know, and sometimes
Right.
I feel that.
too.
Other times I think the last time I felt this uncertain was. Oh, I was 7 years old and Kennedy was assassinated, and it changed the way we lived.
Yep.
The way we thought about our country. Right there. That's the last time I remember being disaffected.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, do I get to sue the administration for my anxiety? And it can be a class action
No,
lawsuit.
nationwide PTSD.
Well, and that's the reason.
That's a great way to put it. It
Right?
really is.
That's the reason this radio station and
Damn,
this
bingo.
radio show is so important to the dialogue. And it came out this week that iHeartRadio,
Yeah, I heard.
especially in LA, is running the Homeland Security.
I heard it on
ads.
K-Earth. I heard it on K-Earth.
Yeah.
And I have told my friends, turn KLBP on.
Yeah.
That's
turn
what I
off
tell them.
all of these stations.
Yeah.
If you hear that Homeland Security ad, that's the last
They need to
time
feel it.
you should
Yeah.
listen to that
No.
station.
And I have friends that are in management over there. So I feel like, no, I don't support that in any way. And, delete the iHeart app on my phone. That was my response. Like, dude, you just get one shot. If that, now
Yeah.
we know what side you're on. It's about money. And
And that's what it's
Everything's
about
about
too.
money.
They may not have a philosophy one way or the other.
Well, that's the problem with big
but
corporations is there's no
and
philosophy.
You and I, Danny, have worked in radio stations, and we know the mentality of the sales department.
Right.
And it's get the money in.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. Get the money in the door.
Right. I remember working late nights because they just wanted to add more and more and
Yeah.
more. They never would stop. But that's the nature.
And that makes it worse
yeah.
in a way because
Absolutely.
they're just blindly
Well,
taking
and that's the problem
ads.
with big corporations is they're soulless.
Yeah.
They're soulless. It's give the selling the advertising space to whoever.
Do
whatever.
you remember when we were kids, at least when Mike and I were kids, you're such a young
Thank you.
lady. But it was, when we heard about them making corporations people. And
Yeah.
you thought just for a second, at least my parents out loud said, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
And now we know.
Oh,
now
yeah.
40 years, 5 years later, 50 years later.
Here we are.
Here we are, right?
Yeah.
Caring about money over people. It's just a simple thing. I want to come up with a sticker that identifies people who are on the right side of history. And I don't want to ape anything like the stars from the Holocaust.
I was going to say,
Yeah, I'm thinking this through.
think it through.
There's the Prius people,
Yeah.
right? We got those.
But I'm with them or something. That's got to be a way for us to identify that we really, really, really aren't part of this. We don't want to be part of it. And I think there's more of those people around than there are people that do care that this is happening, that we're getting rid of all the illegals, right? And hardworking folks.
Yeah.
I have family my family's all very progressive, but I have some that are from red states, and I'm just texting them all the time with local stories. This is what's happening here. Please tell your friends. This is what's happening because it's these kind of stories
Right.
about the
Yes.
artist who was just
Yeah.
taken off the street and sent to El Salvador. Tell your friends because these stories aren't on Fox.
Right.
Right, so tell
That's
people
true.
this is the human story that's happening
Yeah.
because if in the communities, in those types of communities, they're not getting the real news either.
Yeah, of course not. You're only getting what they want you to know
Right.
during that time. Well, I think we should take another break for some music and let our blood pressures drop a bit.
know.
But I'm feeling good when we talk like this. I really am, instead of staying at home and talking to Boomer.
He seems like a progressive.
But coming up next on the show, Pope Leo trumps Trump with his own executive order. I'll tell you what that's
Wow.
like coming on up. In the meantime, what do we got?
Well, I want to do a little background on this because I teased it at the top of the show, but Bruce Springsteen just recently put out 7 albums. All of those albums were albums that he shelved and went on and made a whole nother album that ended up being released. And this went on for years, and suddenly he's got 7 unreleased albums,
Wow.
which he's just recently put out. And this is a cut from it. It's called One Beautiful Morning.
All right, Mike.
That's Bruce Springsteen and One Beautiful Morning from the Tracks 2 box set.
That's fantastic. It's Morning on the Beach right here, your Saturday, Sunday morning show with Danny.
Mike?
Melanie Ray. And check us out on all the socials. We're on Facebook,
Yeah,
we're on
please.
Instagram, and then you can find out cool things that are going on.
Yeah, and all of the things that will be involved with here at KLBP, we always put it on our socials as well.
99.1 FM in downtown Long Beach and streaming at klbp.org. This is KLBP, Long Beach Public Radio.
In the beginning of the show, we talked about the fact that they're coming after the sidewalks, the rainbow sidewalks. And this is our transportation secretary. This is from the advocate.com, where they called him the, of course, anti-gay transportation secretary, and also the former Fox News host secretary. So, of course, that makes sure he's qualified for the job.
Secretary sounds pretty gay.
Yeah. But he announced a sweeping national initiative that could put rainbow-painted crosswalks and broader debates over how cities express identity and inclusion squarely in the federal spotlight. This is his new Safe Roads program, which is to eliminate distractions from non-freeway arterial roads. Roads are for safety, he says, not political messages.
I hate these people.
Or artwork. What? I'm really, this is important right now. I mean, it's just hateful.
Well, this is Sean Duffy you're
Yeah.
speaking of, right?
Yes.
Now, let's keep in mind Sean Duffy's ultimate roots, Real World on MTV.
True, that's right. He was
That's
a
where
reality.
he was.
Really?
He started
Yeah,
out
yes,
on
yes.
Real World on MTV. And now he's part of the administration.
Transportation secretary.
So that says it all right there.
And if I hate to make the conclusion that planes are falling out of the sky because we have somebody in charge doesn't know what he's doing, but I won't.
I miss Pete Buttigieg.
I do too. President Pete.
President Pete.
yeah,
no,
there's talk of that.
Yeah, there you
You know
go.
what? I don't know. America, we like straight white guys. We like straight white old guys.
Yeah, for our presidents and our...
Yeah. We're still paying the price of electing a black man.
The rebound.
This is
we
the
thought it was
swing
going to
back
be
from
one
that.
term, and it wasn't. We're just rebounding and rebounding.
Well, because the only thing that we dislike more than black people is women.
It's true. Oh, but
Right?
the backlash from that would be, oh my
Trump
God.
is only, yeah.
What is the TV show, The Handmaid's Tale? Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
that would become true in this town.
Not funny
You know,
anymore.
It really isn't.
Danny and I had a little conversation the other day, and I was bemoaning the fact, well, not really bemoaning the fact that I am part of the privileged people of America, the people that are looked at as the right kind of person. I'm white, I'm old, I'm straight, and that's
true.
That's the profile of most.
Maybe you could be
most
president.
mega.
There we go.
Go be
Well,
president.
But I'm not a mega. That's the only issue there.
No, you're right. You're part of that, and recognizing privilege, right, is
Yeah.
interesting.
I have a 17-year-old daughter, and I had to sit her down. I've been sitting her down and saying, okay, this is it now, right? We're in this government. Don't track your cycles on your phone. Tell all your girlfriends not to track their cycles on their phone.
Yes.
Right? The plan B is abortions. Don't count on any of that, and don't talk about anything sensitive. We all know our sensitive groups. Don't message anything about those topics online because there's no privacy and
It's a different world.
Isn't
there's
it
no due
horrible
process?
that you have to even do that.
It
Well,
is, and I've always come from this position of I don't want to scare her, but then there's no way to tell the story without scaring her because it's scary.
Well, like I said, it's a different world, and this story illustrates it completely. And this is about a football quarterback, who is being bounced out of school for having sex with a woman.
I thought that was okay.
College students.
Isn't
have
that okay?
sex- Well, not if you're at BYU, at Brigham Young University, and you take their pledge, right? They have a pledge about you can't have sex before marriage if you want to attend the school. So he, of course, was accused of sexual assault, and they're not even bothering with that right now. They're dealing with it as they're just going to get rid of the guy and get rid of him from school. And so if you think of all the things that you can really be doing, penalizing a college student for having sex with a girl.
Well, and those other kids are having sex too.
Yes.
So
They're not getting caught.
This isn't the one guy, right?
Right. Now, I'm not going to downplay the fact that he's got a charge against him for sexual assault because, well, I'm going to say if you weren't allowed to have sex with a woman and you're left alone with one, goodness gracious.
Right.
You got to control yourself. But there's that. And I just love the way it seems like everything is just important that's not important. Right.
Yeah.
Sidewalks. We're dealing with sidewalks when they're going to jail people in an Everglades prison. Right here on our soil. And the next thing, the only thing we're missing right now, God forbid, it's a bomb on our soil. And then it's like all over because it's just, then we're like any other third world
that's
country.
coming.
Talking about this football player, it just sparked something that there is a documentary out right now about the Ohio State athletic program. It's on HBO Max. And it's about the cover-up of a doctor that was there for probably 15, 20 years, and how he molested all of these wrestlers, macho guys. He molested them, and no one turned him in. The athletic coaches all knew about this, didn't say anything.
Money.
One of those coaches included Congressman Jim Jordan.
No way.
And he,
we got to watch this.
yeah, it's on HBO. Check it out.
I will.
That's what I'm saying is about the people in power. We're not safer because they're in power because they're these people.
Right.
Well, he wasn't a pedophile, but he was enabling it.
It's whatever. It's still a criminal.
And of course, if he wasn't a congressman, it'd be a regular charge, right?
Yeah, and the thing, I'd heard about this before, but the documentary points out that, and they interviewed these athletes, that when Jordan started running for office, he called these athletes individually and begged them to stick up for him.
God, just make sure there's one tape. One tape.
Right.
That's all we did.
And again, not a drag queen.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that the Pope had his own version of executive orders, and because he controls a population of 1.4 billion members around the globe, right? He was able to do something that our administration isn't doing, and that is bring sensitivity to climate change. How is he doing that? He's asking the churches, his churches around the world, to celebrate a mass in reverence for the earth and taking care of it, right? Nice. So he's using his pulpit, a power pulpit, if you ask me, to say they can say whatever they want in America, but the rest of the world, the place is going to hell. We got to take care of it. Right. And he's saying, so he's offering a mass, right? So you'll be able to go to church and pray if you do that. And I think that's a great thing that somebody that powerful is coming out and saying, hey, like the world is crumbling and, tornadoes are getting crazier and hurricanes and stuff. We got to take care of the planet. Yeah. And somebody at least is saying that. So I'm happy about that. And it might get me to go back to church, right? If it wasn't for the molesting. Okay. But on second thought, but we asked the question, I think once in the show previously, we've asked the question about why there are ashtrays in airplane bathrooms.
Yeah,
do you know the answer?
I noticed that even today, modern plane, it was in there this time.
And it seems like it was a long time Right? How long have it been not smoking on airplanes?
20 years.
30 maybe.
Maybe more. I'm more to say
30,
more than 30
yeah.
or 40, right?
Yeah, so
Because
it's
I was a little
still there.
kid when I remember my mom smoking in the airplane when I was a little kid. So by the time I was traveling by myself, it wasn't happening. So it was a long time.
But I'll tell you, there's a reason for that, and that is because of our character as human beings. We tend to, somebody's going to get sneaking away with it and try to put out a cigarette in a trash can. So they leave them there as a way to say, we know folks won't always play by the rules. So
Wow.
that's a lot of money to invest in building new airplanes and putting new ashtrays in there.
Wow.
Because some people can't not smoke on a plane. Right? I think it's great. Well, the new sensibilities of what can happen with an on-air fire. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I never realized that could also cripple a submarine. And there's another documentary.
But
on
what could
Netflix.
cripple a submarine?
A fire, a small fire.
Oh,
Could
that makes sense. And just open the window.
well, yeah. So and that have you watched any of the Titan
No, I
documentaries? Well, those are.
Oh, I
pretty
did. I did a little bit.
Pretty
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah. Wow. And you're thinking
That's
that
a
guy was
feel-good
nuts.
movie these days.
I love it. Like it's time for more music.
I actually thought the Poop Cruise documentary was a feel-good
Yeah,
movie.
we take what we can get. You know, when your silver lining is poop,
Yeah, there we
things
go.
are dark.
What I found weird about it is some of those people were just clueless.
Yeah.
The three girls that were on the bachelor party.
Yeah.
Just clueless.
Right.
Like.
And I
Anyway,
guess
I could go on.
Yeah, but watch it, and you will have your own opinions.
Yeah.
And
Okay, more music.
yay, please.
Brand new music. Brand new music from the Foo Fighters. Today's song. Okay, that's the Foo Fighters and Today's song. Brand new music.
And today's show is pretty much over. We just got into it, and I love it when that happens.
I was ready to get back to this, and I'm happy to be back with you too.
I'm happy to get out of
Yeah.
the studio and get into the sun. It's a beautiful weekend.
Yeah.
It's nice.
All kinds of things are going on, and if you want to know what's going on, just Google it.
Exactly.
I gotta tell people we're gonna go to a long. Forget it. You'll never remember.
Yeah.
But there's a lot going on, of course, when you're here in Long Beach and in the surrounding communities as well. But also it's Sunday. If you're listening on Sunday,
LA Radio Sessions, 10 a.m. It's the encore of Bill Ward's second show on LA Radio Sessions. Now, Bill is in England this weekend performing with Black Sabbath for the final show, and it's been big news all over the world that this is the final time that the original band is getting together. So it's great. And there's some other bands headlining with them, Guns N' Roses and Metallica and a bunch of other great heavy metal bands. And it's available if you want to watch it on pay-per-view.
that's great. It's a like I said, holiday weekend. Get out and have a great time. And if you're going to be out in the streets, right? Have fun. I don't know what I'm going to say. Hang on a second. Let me try something else.
Well, be careful because people are weird out there.
That's true.
So I'm just saying.
Well, that's no different than any other
I was going to
week.
say.
No,
we're-
you know what? It is a little different. I feel like there's a different intensity out there right now
Yeah.
than typically, and it's going to come out.
Careful.
Yeah, just be aware
Yeah.
and
and we'll talk
hug
to you
hug your people.
next week. On the way out, we got something we're going to play.
Yeah, this is a new remix of Kool and the Gang's Celebration. You've heard it a billion times at
Yes.
every wedding you've gone to. This is a pretty cool mix.
And if you think something's wrong with your radio, it isn't. It's the mix on the song. So don't write us letters, but it's great.
And after that is the chicken dance.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Right here.